Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today is another episode of Weekly NHL News with your main man, Payton, on the radio. As today we got a lot of news. We got the next phase 2 of draft lottery going to be coming very soon. The first week of NHL hockey being back and the qualifying rounds taking place with lots of upsets. We got a lot of Black Lives Matter to talk about with all the hockey players kneeling before the anthem and doing a bunch of speeches before we kind of started playing hockey, and some injuries and some free agent signings. So, our first story of the day, we have Reeves, Dickinson, Sagan, and Leonard all take a knee during the anthem in Edmonton. In the first couple games that we've seen during the qualifying rounds, we kind of seen this as one of the biggest kind of headlines, which I fully support. I see Matthew Dumpa before the Chicago Edmonton game 1. He came out and said his huge speech, which mad respect for him. He looked like he was very nervous, and he had the balls to go out and do that, and I respect those guys a ton, and I hope they get the justice that they want. But we got to get on to the next story. As today's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode because of the fact that we are going to be uploading this on Friday. And I did not mean for that to happen, but I am going camping this weekend. So I just wanted to let you guys know that before we keep heading on into the show. I totally forgot to announce that right off the get-go. But that is the big thing. I'm going camping this weekend, so I will not be able to upload on Saturday. I had to pre-plan a bunch of videos, so this video is going to be going up a day early, which, I mean, it's always good. You guys enjoy the series, and I hope you guys continue to enjoy the series as we talk about some heart-wrenching topics, as this one is a heart-wrenching one. Yesterday may have been the last time we have seen Henrik Lundqvist in a Rangers uniform. Well, not yesterday, but a couple days ago. The New York Rangers lost in 3 games against the Carolina Hurricanes. And right now they have Shortskin and Gorgiev, who are following up the ranks in the Rangers. And it looks like Lundqvist might not be a Ranger anymore, which has been huge news. And a thing that we've been talking about all season long. So definitely not a surprising thing that Henrik Lundqvist might be gone from the New York Rangers during the offseason. It will definitely be obvious, but hopefully Lundqvist either retires or he will be going in free agency, and I'm hoping he keeps playing. I love Lundqvist. I'll love to see him in the Oilers uniform and hopefully lead us to win a cup, but it is a bummer. A legend, a king in the NHL, Henrik Lundqvist, will be leaving the New York Rangers here very soon. Probably. Who knows? In our next story, we got some injuries to talk about in the NHL. 2 big ones, as we have Tyler Ennis. He suffered a lower leg fracture on a collision with Chicago Blackhawks forward Kirby Dach. His postseason is over. This is a bummer one for the Edmonton Oilers. They're already down to 1, and then they lose Tyler Ennis' devastating injury. It was just an unlucky one. Tyler Ennis tried to juke out Dach, but Dach really led into the boards and nailed him. And he just caught his leg in a wrong position. It hurt big time for Tyler Ennis. It was a bummer, but it is what it is. It's hockey. Sometimes injuries happen, and shit happens. And the next injury was a very scary one. Jake Muzzin will miss the remainder of the series due to an injury. We don't know what the injury is, but it was kind of like a spinal injury, I think it was. He jumped and he totally nailed his head up against one of the Columbus Blue Jackets forwards, and he was on the ice for a good 8 minutes. It's going to suck for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They lose definitely a key defenseman in him. He was a big player for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and a veteran guy too, because he's won a couple cups with the LA Kings and stuff like that, so that's a big miss for the Toronto Maple Leafs, as they're facing a very hard team of the Columbus Blue Jackets, who they have not really been able to score very much against that team. I think they are playing tonight on Thursday. No, I don't think so. I'll have to double check. But I know the Flames and Jets are playing tonight. And yeah, the Maple Leafs and Columbus Jackets, Blue Jackets are playing tonight in their matchup. So it's going to be the first game without Jake Muzzin. I don't know how well they'll do. But it's going to suck for Jake Muzzin to be out with an injury. He will be out for the remainder of the series too. So it's going to be a big bummer for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I'm hoping he's back and healthy in the lineup in round 1. But we'll have to see. In our next story, we got just a small little one as Jacob Larson has signed an extension with a 2-year deal worth $2.4 million with the Anaheim Ducks. Just a young defenseman. Probably will be claimed from the Seattle Kraken, most likely, as he is a young defenseman and is eligible for the Seattle Kraken expansion draft. So you might even be seeing this kid going over to Seattle. But if Anaheim's smart, maybe protect him because it could be the next Shea Theodore, and you don't want that to happen again, Anaheim. And the next story involves a lot of things. Of course, involves the New York Rangers, who just got eliminated in the qualifying rounds, and might even involve your Edmonton Oilers, as you guys can see here, which the lottery draft part 2 will be on August 10th at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So that's a big one here, ladies and gentlemen. A big one, as the lottery draft will be on Monday, August 10th, which, thank goodness, I'll be back. I will be streaming that draft to see who will be I will only be streaming it if the Oilers are in the draft lottery. That's only if. If they're not in, then I won't be watching the draft lottery, but I will be keeping up to date on who wins it. It's definitely going to be crazy if the Pittsburgh Penguins lose and then win first overall. That will be nuts. My lord, they do not deserve that first round pick. My lord, please, just no. I don't want that to happen. So our next story, we got kind of talking about the qualifying rounds this far of today. We got lots to talk about. The Columbus Blue Jackets versus the Toronto Maple Leafs, which are tied. They're having their game on tonight. It's a big game between them. They've been a very kind of defensive series, to say the least. The Columbus Blue Jackets have been able to shut down the Maple Leafs but for last game, which Toronto won. But the Columbus Blue Jackets, I gotta say, they're playing very good up against a very good team in the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I think they're maintaining themselves very good. I still think the Maple Leafs are gonna try to crawl out, still gonna win and crawl out of this series though, but they're definitely gonna be exhausted going into the first round of playoff action. The New York Islanders versus the Florida Panthers, another series the New York Islanders are dominating in. Florida got a big win the other night, and they're doing very good. Montreal Canadiens were saved by Jeff Petrie. He had a clap bomb from the point, putting the Pittsburgh Penguins away, as Canadiens, they are up 2-1 against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Surprisingly enough, that was a miracle. I don't know how the fuck is that working. Carolina won their series, the very first ever team eliminated during the bubble. The Rangers are gone, and Carolina Hurricanes are on to the playoffs. The Minnesota Wild versus the Vancouver Canucks. I'm pretty sure Vancouver won their game today 3-0, as they will be going up 3-0 or 2-1 in their series, which is big for the Vancouver Canucks. So they have the Minnesota Wild on the brink of elimination. The Calgary Flames could finish off their series tonight, as they have a 2-1 series lead against the injury-riddled Winnipeg Jets. It's been a rough series for the Jets. It's been a rough one for sure for them, and hopefully they'll be able to bounce back. But still not ruled out that Scheifele and Laine will be coming for Game 4, and if they're not, it could be a very struggling game for the Jets. Arizona Coyotes have the Nashville Predators on the brink of elimination as well. They're not playing tonight, as they will be playing tomorrow, as Arizona could eliminate the Nashville Predators, as they have a 2-1 series lead. And that's the same with the Blackhawks versus the Oilers. The Blackhawks have a 2-1 series lead over the Oilers, and they could finish it tomorrow. So that is big. And also, Duchesne had a little bit of a thing to say about David Poile. David Poile came out and said something about Matt Duchesne, about him struggling. He's only had 1 point in the past 3 games, and this is what David Poile said. When Matt Duchesne becomes available to the media, and I have no idea why he hasn't been available to the media, he will tell you everybody about his disappointment. Sorry, I can't apparently speak English today, but that was the big news there. Matt Duchesne just really not happy with himself, and he hasn't been. He's been on very bad, garbage teams over his career, and he's not been able to get things going there in Nashville, and it's just not looking good for the Nashville Predators, as Arizona has really been dominating. I mean, Darcy Kemper has been a huge goaltender for the Arizona Coyotes, and is the reason why I think the Arizona Coyotes could possibly go on a run. And I think this Arizona Coyotes team is the biggest underdog yet in the Western Conference, and I think in the entire NHL. They have phenomenal players in Kessel, Hall, Keller. They got some really good players that in Arizona that I think can build upon a good playoff run, so we'll see how well they do. But that is everything for your weekly NHL news. Make sure to tune in next week as we're going to be talking about the rest of the qualifying rounds and even the starting of round 2. But for right now, guys, I'm going to sign off here. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios, amigos.